Okay, guys, so we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly Dungeon Master today. Today, we are carrying on with our ongoing quarantine campaign, playing... I'll use the Monsters Manual today. Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition. Playing through the 2013 adventure Legacy of the Crystal Shard. And with me today, this is session 24, with me today are the Quarantine Crusaders themselves, the stars of the Legacy of the Crystal Shard campaign. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are, who you're playing, and what level are you currently? First up, I have Arlen.
Hi, I'm Arlen. I am playing Gorwin, who is a 3rd level elven fighter.
Nice. And he's pretty close to 4th, isn't he?
He's very close to 4th. He needs like 500 to get up to 4th.
Nice. Okay. Next up is John.
Hey everyone, I'm John. I'm playing Falkrill Hawkfriend, and I am a half Sylvan Elf, Ranger 4, Cleric 4.
Nice.
And this little bird on my shoulder is Havoc, and he's a jerkface.
Yes, you rolled before we went live. We were doing some housekeeping stuff for those listening live. My apologies for the late start, but we were getting some housekeeping stuff taken care of. One of which was trying to train his stubborn falcon, and it did not cooperate again. And last but certainly not least is our resident armorsmith, Dave.
Hey everybody, I'm Dave. I am playing Lex Wiltshire, who is a 4th level Ranger of Myliki. He is half elven from the Neverwinter Wood, and he's about 1,500 off from level 5.
Wow, getting there, guys. How far is Falcon? Got a little ways to go still.
Falkrill's got a couple thousand to go in each. So,
In each, okay.
I mean, he's multi-class, so he shouldn't be nearly as high level as Dave. So.
It is the perils of multiclassing. This is true. All right.
I like the Ranger Cleric. It's one of my favorites.
Nice. Well, and you know the putting that time in certainly pays off dividends once you hit a little higher up as well too. Some of those wizards that we've got in the other campaign are getting pretty powerful. So, guys, last session, which would have been 2 weeks ago actually, because we were down players last weekend for our one session of it, and we ran a replacement game. So. This would have been, I guess, the follow-up after you guys had been awarded after you guys had helped defeat Barrack Hammerstone. You got your new gear. You got some people got some magic items. What things do you remember you guys walking away with? Like each of your characters individually. What magic items did you get from the hall, from the gifts that Dean Stokely Silverstream granted you guys?
Well, Falkrill walked away with a shiny new ring that helps protect him from charm effects and fear, and makes him a little bit smarter.
Nice.
But it didn't help training his falcon.
That's great. Did Les get anything?
Lex got the Cloak of Arachnidia, so grants him spider climb as and he's immune to entrapment by webs of any sort, and once per day can cast a double-sized web spell. Plus he gets a bonus to poisons.
Nice. Did Gorban get anything?
Gorwin did not get any magic items. He got some mundane items. So he got himself a masterwork short sword to go with his masterwork long sword. He bought a whole bunch of arrows because he was basically out. And he got some shining new armor, so he's going to get that dirty.
And I think you guys each got some healing potions as well, too, didn't you?
I believe so. Let's see.
I'm just going to scroll back and see, because there were a lot of...
healing potions, so.
Wasn't there something?
I also got a Candle of Invocation.
Oh, yeah, right.
I thought there was something put aside for Goran, wasn't there?
Was there? I don't know.
Let's see here.
I wasn't here last time, so...
Yeah, there was, because...
in the party loot, is there notes?
Yeah, Hob was going to do a coin of luck or something else, and we decided to keep one for...
Oh, yeah. Was there a helm?
There was a helm of determination. Yes, that was what Gorman got.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So you got...
That.
Let's see here. Yeah, the Ring of Clear Thought went to...
Store.
Not Lex.
Oh, right. I did write down Helm of Determination.
Okay, great.
the saving throw bonus versus light, gaze, and sound attacks and gas attacks that require inhalation.
Right. So you guys are full on, and with your new dwarven armor, I think you guys all upgraded to metal armor, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so everyone's wearing metal dwarven armor as well. One other thing that you guys may not have known from last time is you were each granted a war ram steed.
Yeah, I remember that.
So you guys each have, you can tell me what the names of your various war ram steeds are. This is in addition to Alehead, who is, of course, your Cola's pack ram, giant ram.
Ooh, gotta pick a name for the ram.
Mm-hmm.
I'm riding Cola's mom.
You're naming it Cola's mom?
I'm gonna ride Cola's mom into battle.
Nice. Do you have animal handling? They may not respond to that. Actually, you're a ranger, so you may have that.
I'm a ranger.
Yeah. Jeez. All right. So then,
Something else.
where we last left things was with you guys. To be honest, I mean, mostly having, having succeeded in your original task of defeating Barrack Hammerstone. We had a little bit of downtime. I think it was a week or 10 days that you had between when that happened and then when we're picking up now, which is why we restored you to full hit points, Gorwin. There was some discussion last time as to what you guys want to do next, and I think that what you guys had, well, you guys tell me what you. There were two tasks that or one task at least that the Dane needed doing.
I seem to recall us deciding to go to a city and seeing what the hell's going on there.
Not a city. I mean, for one, there's no cities in the Icewind Dale, but there was.
One of the lake towns.
Yeah.
Well, it actually wasn't even in the lake town. It's in the valley itself. There are people who came from Bryn Shander who have said that they've got the authority of the High Speaker, and that the High Speaker has told them that has said that they've got control of the Dwarven Valley. So the High Speaker is now claiming the Dwarven Valley as property of the 10 towns, and being a human, or at least a non-dwarven issue, he had asked that you guys first see what they will have to say and what they want, and then he can measure his response based on that. That's also partly based on, I think Storr had mentioned that he had experience with the folks behind, or who seem to be behind some of this, the ones from Luskan. Members of Ship Rethnor, one of the gangs that controls that, and the Arcane Brotherhood, who seems to control the ships of Luskan. So, that was one of the tasks, and then you guys were talking about what else you thought you might need to do. I mean, the weather, it definitely prohibits some actions, but there was some talk about potentially going off to try and find the Ragged Tribesman, your buddy Hengar.
I think we'd also mentioned leaving the Dwarven Valley and heading to the closest town to find out if the Black Ice had pervaded, because they'd been trading it with the human colonies.
Sure.
To see how bad that was. And
here, well, let's go to the wider map here. So you guys are in the Dwarven Valley. Yeah, and then so it's Caer Dineval, Caer Konig, and East Haven. All of the communities on Lac Dinshire had Black Ice traded with them, and a substantial amount. So,
but I think we were starting off with going to check on Paldrinor and his troops who were at the entrance to because that's where the humans were making their claims. Yep.
So, where our scene opens, guys, will be we see a snow-covered valley. The steep cliffs on either side, and it's a fairly big gap at this point. We see, so we can tell that we're between one side of the valley and the other. So we can tell that this is definitely somewhere closer to the middle of the Dwarven Valley. And then we hear kind of a clip, 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 and we see climbing over, kind of like, Tauntaun style. We see 3 war rams, atop which are fur cloak swaddled figures who kind of make their way up to this along one of the roadways, I guess, that runs along the side. And these characters, for the most part, look a little bit too, like, not so large as they would be like comical, or as if like kids on a pony or adults on a child's pony. But it does seem like they're not quite comfortable. Well, I mean, I guess we got an elf and 2 half elves, so you guys aren't really all that big in D&D. So you guys come racing over, and you can see from where they stopped. There's a prominence that leads down, and there's a road that continues on. And when I say road, I mean like a slight depression in the untouched snow, as opposed to the snow on the side. Like there's drifts of snow on the sides, and there's a drift of snow that covers the road, what would be the path leading towards the eastern or western end of the Dwarven Valley. The other thing I'll say is that, from the amount of breath coming out of the rams, we can probably tell that it's been tough going for a lot of the way. So this is you guys. It's the 3 of you guys who are on your way towards the entrance to the Dwarven Valley, where Paldronor and a small retinue of loyal dwarves had gone to relieve some of Hammerstone's remaining forces. And what you guys can see is about a half mile ahead, along the same side of the valley, you can see a small detachment of about 5 dwarves making their way along. You can't make them out from this distance, and from where you guys are going to be riding, you will unfortunately your vision will be obstructed until you're sort of on, right upon these things. But it looks like they are heading in the direction of the dwarven community. So if you guys have nothing else you wish to do, then whether this is Paldronor's troops or whether this is something else, you spur your mounts on, and you head down. And we can see that as much as you wouldn't want to walk through this snow, the rams are having very little time, or very little difficulty making their way through this. They're hopping up, and it certainly is a different way of riding, but it sounds like at least Falcaril and Lex, you guys are both pretty much expert animal handlers, so you get used to it. Who does not have the proficiency for riding land mounts?
I do not have riding. Do not.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have riding.
Ooh.
I have hunting.
There it is. So then,
technically, I could take writing because I have 1 extra free slot, but I was planning on just bumping up my read write because that seems like appropriate for the character.
Yeah, your call. You don't really need to make a roll unless you're in if you're writing it in combat or in a combat situation. If you are in a combat situation, you do need to make a roll to control your mount.
Okay, well then I'm not going to worry about it because I'll just dismount in combat.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not going to pull a store.
You're not going to, sorry?
Not going to pull a store.
Nice. All right. So it is about another, do I have a wind sound effect here? Because this really would be appropriate. I do not. Bush, League, DM. Jeez.
Missile weapon style allows you to reduce your penalties while firing mounted, though.
There you go. Not bad. So they, it's about, we'll say about maybe close to like 45 minutes when you guys are going to be approaching these. Do you have any thought as to how you want to approach this group of unknown dwarves? No one's got a spyglass or anything like that, right? Like, I'm not missing...
Nope.
No? Okay. So you couldn't have had a chance to try and see who they were.
No.
What are you thinking, guys? Just
Direct
right.
approach.
Ride up, and as we get closer, slow down just a little bit so they don't think we're threatening them.
Okay. So because of the winding nature and because this road really does hug the side of the valley walls, You find it that, let's see, we'll do it randomly here. You knew they were coming. They likely saw you guys as well, too. So, do this. So it's about 1,000 feet away. So it's not that, when you do see them. And I think at that distance, let's see here. I think you need to be a little bit closer in order to make out the tail, but let me look at my handy-dandy vision chart. Where are you?
Ice King's like, peeps dying off in the Dale? The group is so small.
It's been a rough couple of weeks. Okay, where is it here? I know where it is. It may not surprise you to learn that I fell asleep last night reading the Wilderness Survival Guide.
Lovely.
All right. Here we go, outdoor ranges. So, Dave, give me a 30% roll there, Weatherman.
Percentile?
Please, yeah. 5. So, snow's coming down again. Which means it's overcast. Which means it's 400... I think that's yards. So you'll be able to... So you can definitely see these guys. And where is it here? Sorry, guys.
John, are you in the chat, John?
Yeah?
You're outrageously money?
That
Yes.
is my username, yes. It's a leftover username from my brother before he passed, so I held on to it.
Oh, nice. That's good of you to maintain that. I have no other reason for why my login names are all bad motherfucker.
You're gonna blame it on your son?
No.
That's translation for player killer, isn't it not?
Yeah. All right, let's see here. So it is light snow. So you can, 200 yards away is when you can spot them. So that's it's about 6. So you actually don't see them until 200, so 600 feet away. You can identify them as dwarves at 300 feet away, and you're not going to be able to ID them because of the snow until they are 90 feet away.
That's still short range.
Yeah. So fortunately, you can picture you're riding up along this, the side. Now it's not a precipitous drop off the side, but it's enough of a slope that you certainly wouldn't want to fall off of it. It may not be lethal, but it certainly would be quite humiliating to roll most of the way down. You also may take, if you hit a tree or something like that, it could probably kill you. But anyway, so you come riding up, and what you see there is, again, it's a group of 5. They're dressed for travel, for sure, and for the climate, and they're wearing armor, but they have big, heavy furs on them, so it's difficult to tell what they, where their allegiance would necessarily lie. As much as you guys have spent now quite a bit of time with dwarves, they do kind of look alike. Certainly when covered in armor and covered in, in furs. So what do you guys say? I think you guys with your elven sight would probably notice them before they would notice you. Or at least make out your type. They would see you. They stop and wait for you to approach.
We want to have a brief conversation between us before we got close enough to them? Discuss what we're going to say to them?
That is what I was asking about before. So
never mind that.
No, you can do it now. It's okay, but what are you guys thinking? How do you want to approach this?
Just find out if they're friends of the dwarves, to the Hammerstones? No. I guess it doesn't.
Then Silverstream is in charge now, so.
Silverstream, yeah.
So, yeah, I say we approach them friendly-like, and just to try to be as nice as possible and inquire why they're in the Dwarven Valley.
Okay. So, we cut back to the scene of you guys riding up, and they make out. You can see that it looks like they've been traveling, for some distance based on the amount of snow that's caked on the top of their big heavy fur cloaks. You can see it looks as if someone had taken a plow and gone through the snow, because there's just this furrow behind them that is it's not snowing heavily enough to be filling it up just yet, but it looks like, if you had any questions or any curiosity as to how the dwarves maintain this this stretch of passage in the winter, probably you just ask them to walk up and down it, and that would do a good enough job, because they're a bit close to the ground. But this one steps forward. Do you guys say something first, or do you wait for them to say something?
It's kind of rude for us to ride up on them and not say something. So yeah, Falcor will look over to the other two and say, just shrug, and goes, "Hail!"
What is your charisma bonus?
May I reaction adjustment?
Yes, please.
A 3.
A 3. Okay. So the one dwarf steps forward. I think, Gorwin, you're the soldier in the group here, or at least the warrior. But you're kind of oblivious in the beginning of combat, aren't you? Yeah.
Yep.
So it's probably Lex then who notices. They don't seem to have primary weapons. They've got daggers, they've got crossbows, but you're not seeing any like axes or hammers. So one steps forward, or one looks up at you and says, "Ho there, elf."
Aye. Is he speaking in Dwarven?
He speaks in common, but with a dwarven accent.
Okay. This is
Where be you going? And on dwarven rams?
well, on Dwarven Rams and Dwarven Armor, we're heading to see about some Dwarven business.
Oh, you're with that one Paldranor. No?
Aye. He was part of our group.
All
Have you
right.
seen him?
He's back at the entrance to the valley now. You can find him there.
Excellent. Hopefully he's well. How are your travels been?
The travels are long and not over yet. So, and he looks at the rest of them and gestures, and all the other 4 dwarves and himself kind of walk to the side to clear the path for you guys.
Oh. Didn't have to do that, but thank you. May your hearth be nice and warm when you get home.
One of them in the back says, "We may find a noose waiting for us." And the leader kind of looks over like, "Shh." And the leader says, "Well, safe travels, elves."
Silverstream is a forgiving man so far that we've seen.
And one of them shoots a look back at the guy who said something about the noose. And the leader says, "We don't doubt that, sir."
Valley is united. Go home and enjoy your farm. Any word from the road ahead between here and the end of the valley?
Not, and they kind of look at each other and look up at you and realize sort of what you're wearing, and says, "Forgive me, sir, but what's your business here?"
We are friends, allies of the dwarves, and we're heading to see Paljanor and his kind.
Elven allies. Have we elves? And then someone in the back kind of shouts, "Have we got elves living here now?"
No, we're not living here, but we're allies of Silverstreams and the dwarves.
So you're friends? No doubt.
Indeed.
And one of the older ones looks up and says, "No doubt gifts of the Thane then. Hey? And who owned those before then?" And the leader looks at him like, and the old guy quickly shuts up, and he looks up and he says, "Please, excuse our manners. There was a time when the hospitality of the valley was known through all the Icewind Dale and down the Sword Coast. Times have changed, though we should remember what we were.
Have you been gone long?
No. 3 months stationed. No, sorry, it would have been a month stationed. 1 month.
These are gifts from your thing, but we are also friends and traveling companions of Cola Hammerstone. So we have friends on both sides, if you will, from the past little while, and we're happy to see that both sides are now one.
So one of the guys in the back kind of pipes up once again. Does Beric Hammerstone live?
Beric unfortunately did not live.
The black ice took his mind, and there was no saving him.
You can see that one or two of them looks like they may want to try and say something, and I think that if which among you has the highest wisdom score?
I have a 14.
I got a 16, just because I'm a cleric.
All right, Falcrill's got the highest.
So 16. You can. I think Falcrill, what you can recognize. Well, Falcrill's also got healing, so I think this kind of makes sense. You can recognize in the two ones that seem the twitchiest, the same haunted eyes, the same kind of like twitchiness, sunken, and sallowness of the skin. You'd guess that the black ice had a grip on, if not all of these guys, certainly a strong grip on at least two of them.
And, like, had a grip or has a grip?
Had.
Okay.
If you like, if Lex points out, they're not wielding any black ice weapons, and in fact, it seems as if many of their, from the dwarves that you have faced thus far, these guys seem to be missing part of their gear.
Yeah, so we're thinking these guys were stationed somewhere, and then when the thing took over, he took their black ice weapons, and
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
They haven't been able to replace it with anything dwarven.
Yeah, Falcor will raise an eyebrow when he noticed that, and he'll just say off the cuff, I'm sure some of you might have known what that black ice can do. He won't look at anybody in particular.
They all look, and I think that there's one, the youngest one in particular, he looks like he's about to say something back, and the leader of the group, the one who's been speaking to you the most, he shoots him a look like, do not say anything. You think there may be a familial kind of link there as well, too, because they do look, now that you see them, they look a little similar.
Okay. And then Falcor will say, regardless, if you see any more of it, do not touch it. It turns dwarves into something less than dwarves, and your honor, you lose it.
The leader nods and says, "Oh, we understand the new ways." Then, if you don't mind, we have many miles to travel still, on much of the snow to get through.
Well, Lex looks back and goes, if you follow our trail, you might have some easier path.
Thank you, Elf.
Safe travels, dwarven friends.
And to you, safe travels. And long live the silver streams.
We nod, like we're not dwarves, but yeah. Sure.
Yeah, and they turn and start shuffling up in the direction that you guys went, and you guys turn and carry on. It's a little. You're able to make a little bit better time for this last stretch here as well too. So it. Let me see. I'm checking my.
Spoken like a true Canadian, knowing what it's like to walk in someone else's snow-trodden path.
Yeah.
This is suddenly much easier.
This game is on easy mode now.
Yeah.
All right. Where's the travel times? Here we go.
It's like the difference between the person who's snowshoeing at the front versus the person who's snowshoeing at the back. The person at the back is basically walking on packed snow, and the person at the front is doing all the work.
Or with the, what do you call it, cross-country skis. Okay. So, let's see here. So normally, unrestricted, it takes you about 6 hours to get from one end to the other. On foot, that would normally take you 12. But because of the snow and such. But because of the rams, I'm going to bump that down again too. But so it'll be basically about a 5-hour journey in total, because you're not running the full length of the Dwarven Valley. So it's still, early afternoon when you arrive at the same outpost, and this is, of course, the last time you saw this place is when you were forced to kill those aggressive dwarves. The place now seems different, shrouded in snow. Oh no, I guess it was before, so it's completely covered in snow. There's no sign, of the violence that was here the last time you arrived. And I think as you guys get close, because of the snowfall, it's hard for them to see anything. But you hear from inside the outpost. You can hear, there's some talk that's going on as you guys are riding up. There's a small stable set into the side where other riding rams have been set or tied up. I think there's only one there, actually. They wouldn't have equipped them with full. So maybe there's only one other that your 3 rams can be tied up for. But by the time you get towards the stable, the door opens. Paldronor walks out with a big, furred cloak on his shoulder. He's not wearing his helmet, but he does have his armor on still too, and he's followed by a couple of other men. And he says, "You lot, where are you going?"
Hey, Paldronor.
Hello, Falcarel. What are you here for?
Well, I think we're checking on you a bit and then heading out.
Heading out? Are you heading to the 10 towns then? Or get your rams in. Or hold on, boys, get these rams in. So he brings the some of the other ones come out and take the mounts for you. They'll take care of the saddles and setting them up in the stable. He says, come inside. Get out of that cold. We'll get some brew in for you. So you guys are brought in. You're strip some of your layers of furs off and stuff. And Paldronor takes a moment to look over. Whoa. New armor, then.
Yeah, solid dwarven make. Not as light as the elven stuff, but he wraps it solid.
Indeed. And he kind of raps on it. Now, does this mean that you'll still be insisting on running forward there, Falcarel?
Running forward? I'm always running. How I get places.
So what brings you, and he gets you out, sets you out. The setup in here is... again, like a little more welcoming, I think, this time than the last time you were here. The table and the chairs and such are all still a little too small for you guys. Not so bad if you were a human or something larger, but still a little too small for you. But the what is certainly your size or bigger are the steins of beer that are set tunk 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 in front of you guys. Here, warm your bones. And tell us what brings you here. If you're not heading out, where are you going?
Well, I believe our intention is to talk to the humans that have come here claiming the Dwarven Valley as their own.
Oh, that's when the Thane sent you then.
Well, he asked us to look into it.
He told us about that, and with them there, we've been told to turn others away. We hope that this will not be the case, or will remain the case, and the valley will open again. But until this is sorted out, we can't have folk of the 10 towns coming down and laying claim to what's ours because they see perceived weakness.
Yeah. I agree. Have you any idea where they are, or have you met them at all? Turned them away?
I did not know, though. Here, Graham, come here. And one of the dwarves who was maybe busy, like, pouring the beers for you, he says, oh, yes. He says, Graham here came up with the Thane. He could tell you. And he looks over, oh, aye. And he's got blonde hair, and he's got blue eyes. He's got a shorter beard than the others too, but it looks like it's cropped that way. Not that he's necessarily so much younger than everyone. He says, "Welcome, friends. So you're going to talk to them then?"
We're going to try.
Well, from what we saw, there appeared to be about 20 of them. I don't know what they were doing, but 20 of them, and they seem to be led by a man who stooped, feral looking. The man, and he kind of looks over at the dwarf, says, he looked more weasel than he did man.
Oh, man. Another of Slim's buddies.
I certainly hope not, but you still got those weapons from before.
Well, he spoke certainly with a great deal of presumed authority. The way he spoke to the Thane, you think that that the Thane was a commoner visiting his house unwelcomed.
Yeah.
Doesn't the Dwarven Valley technically owe allegiance to the king in Mithril Hall?
Oh, aye. And they all sort of like, aye, yes.
Oh, well, maybe we should just tell them to go visit Mithril Hall to sort out the disputed territory.
I think that and this is Graham speaking, I think that if, from the attitude that Griff, the leader of their group, what he had, he seemed to think that if we were going to make something of it, that we would need to make something of it. If you take my meaning.
I don't really, but that's okay.
But it didn't mean
Graham says, I guess what Paljanor says is that what he means is if Mithril Hall is a long way away, and if they just take what they want, it will be for us to prove otherwise. And he kind of hits the table hard that it's ours. The support of a king on the far side of the mountains, trapped and passes choked with snow. They're a long way away. I think that you guys may think as well too, if just in this may be Gorwyn that this occurs to. What would you think of that Silverstream's standing would be if first he suffers what's effectively a civil war, and then has to call for help from Mithril Hall?
Oh, I wasn't meaning call for help. I meant like Gorwyn, with his lawful perspective, thinks like, oh, if they want this territory, they should go see the suzerain of it and negotiate for it.
Yeah. Now, and there isn't what you would know as well too. I think because if your mind's thinking that way, it's not really like there's not a land titles office or something like that. Like it, the tradition of ownership of these of any of lands, especially wild lands like in the Icewind Dale, it's really a matter of like it's custom, but that's it. There's not really they can say, oh, we've worked this land for X amount of years, but there's no independent like statute or something they can put to. It's the power. This is when we started the campaign, I was drawing analogies to Deadwood, and it's kind of like that. There's going to be some recognition of legacy and whatnot too, but at the end of the day, it's kind of the wild north out here.
Yeah, you hold land according to blood, that's spilled or otherwise.
Exactly. Yeah, like you can claim lineage for it, but if someone's tougher and takes it from you, who are you going to appeal to? Someone else to come and spill more blood, probably. But what is new, though, is, and Gorman, as you've asked around about this, the 10 towns have never laid claim to anything in the Dwarven Valley. That is just, they have not tried to... there's probably good reasons for that, not the least of which would be is that the humans are likely not equipped to to undertake the mining the way that the dwarves are. They don't have the generations and generations of experience doing that stuff. The dwarves, since they've been in the Dwarven Valley, since they fled Mithril Hall, that's been their primary activity. It's not other, there are other dwarves who are warriors, who are, devout priests or things like that. This is an exclusively mining community. So there's really no one who's going to be better equipped to do that. So this is a new development. So Paldonor says, then what do you intend to do with these men from 10 towns, this griff?
I would prefer to reason with them and send them on their way, but recent experiences with Black Ice and the shady business in the town we were in, Bryn Shander, my hope for that is slim.
Indeed.
There's only 20 of them, you say?
Aye.
Only 20. I doubt any of them can stand up to Barrack Hammerstone, his sheer power. I think we might be able to drive them off, but...
So the timing-wise of this, guys, if you're thinking about how much time has passed, it's 10 days since Hammerstone died. You would have passed those guys if they're on the eastern side of the valley or the northern edge of the valley. You would have passed them when you went in, which means that these guys have showed up at some point between when you guys arrived in the valley and when you've arrived back here, or when after you guys killed Barrack Hammerstone and Silverstream traveled. It's only a window of about maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I'm guessing they were coming here to see Barrack and to do something. So
Paldonor can tell you that they didn't. This may be self-evident here, but when they made their way through to the north side of the valley, that was when the Hammerstone forces were still in control of this location.
So the Hammerstones let them in.
The Hammerstones were the ones who let them in. Yeah.
Yep.
I figured they were connected.
Yeah.
Well,
Although somehow I can't imagine Barrack Hammerstone being super friendly to the idea of the 10 towns taking over the place either.
No, that is curious, right?
Yeah.
we know that the Black Ice messes with his mind and made him super paranoid, but he still trusted the Fire Witch, she who shall not be named.
Yeah.
Um,
The
But
true
they
hero
also make
of
him-
this story.
It also makes him really greedy, though. That's just it. So a greedy person isn't going to give up their power that they just got.
So yeah, I think whatever deal they had was, the Black Ice was still working on him by the time we got to him. Whatever deals he made beforehand, he might still have honored. Cat is being needy.
What's up, sweetie? Oh, and it's trying to compete for attention too. So, what are you planning on doing then? He looks over and Graham says, they did not seem, as I said, they seemed to treat the Thane himself as he was an unwelcome guest in their home. In the Dwarven Valley, no less.
Which is not very polite of them.
Paldonor looks at it and says, do you have planned for them what you had for Hammerstone then?
I never plan on the finality of that kind of thing. It happens, but it's always an option.
Falcaro barely plans at all.
That's true. Falcaro runs more on instinct than anything. We go try to send them away. If not, teach them manners, and if that doesn't work, well then they can learn it in the afterlife.
Maybe we'll escort them back here, Paldonor, and you can see that they exit the valley.
So
That would be
Paldonor,
the best case scenario.
Paldonor says that the take care if the Thane is sending you. I expect that he does not want them simply killed. If he wanted that, he could have sent us. No? The 10 towns, I know you're new here, but before these troubled times with Hammerstone and his kin, we've had centuries of happy trade and coexistence with these. Indeed, when Kessel reared his head the first time, it was the 10 towns who were worthy allies of ours. We stood with them, with the people. The Icewind Dale, even those, there are some among the Ragged tribes who stand with us as well. The Icewind Dale stands as one. It's when divided that our enemies weaken us.
Valkyrie takes a moment and breathes like, yeah, I suppose the last bit of of our adventuring here has darkened my outlook on peaceful solutions.
Oh, indeed. Though, you see, I'm trying to think here. If that thing we saw deep in that terrible creature's lair is indeed Kessel. Kessel was broken by the combined might of all of the 10 towns. But that combined might, when divided, less strength. I know when you sent me here, you wished to hear word from your friend, the tribesman, Hengar. We've heard no word from them. Though we have heard strange things. He looks over and there's one of the dwarves who kind of looks sheepish. He's got big, buggy eyes. He's got grayish beard. And he kind of is, drinking. He looks over and then tries to look away. He says, Falcarel and Lex, this is Doldrum. Doldrum. I think that Doldrum would like to hear what you heard when you were outside Falcarel and Lex before we journeyed through the valley under.
During the snowstorm?
Indeed.
Rhythmic motions sounding like the flapping of a large ship canvas in the wind far above us.
The guy's eyes snap up and look at you.
Indeed.
Like thick, heavy sails cracking in the wind. Thicker than cloth, but that same kind of snap.
Yeah. And he says, he kind of looks at you and then looks down at his drink, and he just says with a clear, kind of flat inflection, like wings.
Like wings.
Palsrunner looks back. He says, "Oh." He claims on his watch he heard something circling ahead in the storm. And he claims he heard it growl too. There are things afoot in the valley, and I sense that whatever that may be, they may be trying to weaken us and give excuses. The more we fight, the more we spill our blood, the weaker we are. The valley is not the strength it was, and will not be ready for some time. But the Thane feels that something is coming, and if our enemies can turn us now against our other erstwhile allies, that will weaken us further, spilling blood against those who should be friends. You see, Falcarel?
I do see.
So, do you guys have anything else you wish to ask Paljanor about?
Not really.
Just mostly ask him how he's been since the fight with Barrick and how he's getting along.
I'll be happy to never take those stairs again. If I never have to go too deep or too high again, this, and he kind of gestures to the ground, this seems about right for me going for the next while. If I go 100 years and never stand on a precipice or find myself a mile underground, I'll be a happy dwarf indeed.
Velcro grins and says, "You've come a long way since us finding you in the mine."
He looks a little bit embarrassed. He says, "Aye."
We're proud to have you along, Paljanor. You've turned into a great warrior.
And kind of nods. Aye, well, enough of that. More drink. You've got a cold road ahead of you tomorrow. And the dwarves kind of... Roar! So you guys have a very welcoming meal. You get the sense that they're kind of breaking out the best of what they have available for you in terms of food. It's still nothing particularly, sumptuous, but it's not just their sort of army rations. Are you guys intending on heading out the next day?
I would think so.
Good idea.
And what is the plan for the next day then? How do you plan on approaching this? You guys have an opportunity to talk about your strategy here.
Yeah.
I'm unclear. Did they send these guys back to Bryn Shander, or are they waiting around here near the Dwarven Valley?
They're in the Dwarven Valley.
Ah.
Yeah,
We
they're
just came down
in
one
there.
side,
They've set
back
up
the other.
a camp on the north side of the Dwarven Valley.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you guys
Yeah.
would have passed them if you had been traveling, because you guys took the northern route to get to Silverstream the first time.
We just never saw them. Okay.
Well, we were underground.
No. If you guys traveled overland on the northern side when you guys arrived here,
Oh, right.
right? So, because when you first arrived, you traveled on the northern route to get to where Silverstream is. You would have seen them if they were there when you guys arrived. That's what I'm saying, is that they would have. You can extrapolate that they must have arrived sometime after you arrived, but before Silverstream got word that Hammerstone is dead.
Okay.
So, oh, sorry, I thought you were trying to say something.
No.
What's the plan then, guys? Let's talk for a moment. How do you guys want to approach this? Who's going to do the talking? What are you asking for? What is your backup position here? If you are going to turn to violence, what's that going to look like?
Falkrol does not want to turn to violence. He'd prefer to negotiate it out and have them leave. But he's just pessimistic about all of it.
How do we get them to leave, though? So what's what reason we should tell them that the Thane sent us, and we're here to let them know that the proper Dwarven authorities are in place and their claim is not valid, and they should take that back to their master.
Yeah, and that's where it's good to remember that you haven't been charged with driving them off. You haven't necessarily been charged. What the Thane's hope is that non-dwarves can talk to non-dwarves and find a way of making things clear.
Right.
First off, I think we need to find out why they think they can lay claim to the valley. That's interesting. I mean, the land's always been, held in, to the dwarves. The 10 lands have never claimed it before. So we just want to find out what changed and.
Yep.
Who authorized them?
Maybe lean into that the dwarves aren't going to give it up. So we're here to kind of.
Well, and even, right, there's different ways to present it, right? We can even just say, we understand your concern about, the state of the Dwarven Valley in recent months, but all of that chaos has been settled, and Thane Silverstream is in full control of the valley and basically say like, oh, we don't need Bryn Shander's help right now, but thanks for the offer, instead of saying, get the fuck out, guys, because we don't want to parlay with you.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
maybe if we find out who sent them here, we can let the Thane know and have him prepare whatever he's going to do to hold his land, and we can go investigate in the interim before anything bad happens.
So I like what Arlen said. Gorman's idea is solid. I like some of the questions that Falcarel's coming up with. This is also an opportunity for us to apply for what's happening in the 10 towns. Why did they send somebody here? And like get some information as well.
Yeah.
Before things go south, if they go south.
Yeah, I'd rather not resort to violence, but like I said, Falcarel's pretty pessimistic at the moment. Does anybody else want to take the lead? Because Falcarel's more of a sit back and watch the guy.
Gorman, I like your ideas. Do you want to take this on?
Gorwin can talk. Gorwin is in a much better position to talk to like fellow scholars or teachers or academics or people who he can kind of speak the language with. Everybody else, Gorwin is at best off-putting in general.
He's a weirdo.
He may not be the best one to actually kind of do the negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can only try.
Okay.
I think that could be fun to watch. I mean,
All
just
right.
pretend that they're scholars and you're doing a lecture on or a demonstration on etiquette and negotiations.
Oh, I'm sure they'll love that.
All right. Give me a sec here. We're going to roll and see here.
Yeah, one thing I forgot was that Falcarel does have a pretty gnarly scar, so my reaction adjustment is actually a -1 for anything non-intimidation related.
Ew. Yeah.
Oh.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, the ghoul bites and the mortal wounds have added up.
Yep. Okay.
So we should find ourselves a temple and do some favors for the temple so we can get
The good news is I got a +5 intimidation roll.
some deals on getting rid of our scarring and our injuries.
All right. Give me 2 seconds here, guys. We're going to set something up. So from what Paldronor tells you as well, too, or what Graham tells you, it really should only be a matter of a couple of hours of ride. They're not that far in, maybe an hour and a half. Maybe 2, depending on how. Well, you're on Rams now, so probably about 2 hours to get in to where they've set themselves up. All right, and let me do this here.
And it's still, I mean, it's not blizzarding, but it's real cold and
Oh,
snowy
yeah.
and all that sort of stuff. So they're set up like in tents outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna make them happy.
If
Yeah.
you guys are worried about the cold, I can give us each 6 hours of relief from it.
I mean, like what they would be set
Oh,
up in, it's not going to be like like a canvas tent. It would be like over large hide tent, and they'd keep a fire burning inside. So
Yeah, like a yurt or something.
yeah, or like a teepee is what I was kind of thinking, but
Yeah.
not quite a teepee.
Yeah, but no, something more permanent than just like a camping tent for a night.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. No, it's going to be something that would be a permanent fixture as opposed to a something that they could just pick up and run with quite easily.
Yeah.
Something you'd set up that you would later, that could evolve into an actual, not settlement but encampment. Okay, let's see here. Oops. Have you guys ever seen a teepee before?
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We don't have, so one of the things I didn't understand about the Native American population in the US is that a whole bunch of the Plains tribes were not actually Plains tribes.
Yeah.
They were pushed to the Plains by the federal government.
Yeah.
Which is always kind of an interesting thing to have learned in like 7th grade and being like, oh,
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we the biggest museum in Winnipeg. It's changed its name now to the Manitoba Museum, but it used to be called the Museum of Man and Nature. And one of the things they'd have there, we'd always go there for field trips, is they have this massive teepee set up that you could always like crawl right inside and stuff, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay. They also have a replica of the Nonsuch, which was the first ship to navigate, first European ship to navigate Hudson's Bay. And you really want to realize just how shitty, sea travel was at that time. Holy shit.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Actually, should go again.
Nice.
Look at that.
did you
Oh,
say
it
it's
works.
George's?
This is a bag for George.
Awesome.
Nice.
Oh, I looked away. Oh, yes, it's done. Nice.
Yeah, awesome. I'm kind of excited. I really like the. I tweaked the pattern a little bit.
Yeah.
A little more color on top, and then back to the middle color for the top rings.
Beautiful. Yeah, that looks great. And for those listening at home, Dave makes these too. Dave crafts these things. That's pretty.
I have this one here. I'm going to offer up for the. I don't know if you saw my note yesterday, Kev, but
Yeah.
I think I'm going to give this titanium chainmail bag for the raffle.
Awesome.
The serious heavy duty stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
amazing.
and
That's what I've got.
indestructible dice.
Yeah, mine is a titanium one that Dave made for me, which is super fucking cool. And it's got it now holds my what do you call it? It's the dice from the D66
Alien?
games. Yeah, Alien.
The Free League ones.
Yeah, for the Alien ones too. So it's great because I don't want
Nice.
to mix those up with my other dice.
Yeah.
So pretty awesome. All right, I can't find a good illustration for this dude, so I'm just going to be reusing an illustration from our Night Below campaign for
We
the
want
time
to
being.
our mid-session break yet? Or...
I don't need it for this guy. I think the role playing will certainly differ or make this guy differ from from who you met before or from who this somebody used. I'm just going to use Geralt's illustration.
No, I like Geralt. Don't use Geralt.
Okay, I won't use Geralt. Who do you hate here? Let's see here. Darius Carmen. I know you hate Darius Carmen, so I'll use Lord Carmen's illustration.
That might not bode well for how we negotiate.
Yeah. Kill him! He's got my ring!
Players deliberately went
Don't worry,
straight
I
to
don't want to kill somebody who looks like Geralt, so,
Why did the players go straight to their weapons? We're not sure. Maybe it's the Darius Carmen picture that we used.
Yeah.
Just start
Okay,
with, "What up, Dick? You gonna take another of our magic items again?"
You pick somebody weaselly.
Oh my God. Yep, for those DMs at home, make sure you do not take magic items from your players because they will never let you hear the end of it. So, as you guys are riding along, you what you come across. It sounds like you've got an approach here. You're going to approach wearing your full dwarven armor mounted on your rams. Weatherman, would you kindly give us a percentile roll? See if you've seen a change in the weather. At least it stopped snowing, so there's that. So it is clear, but I mean, it would have been a completely, once again, you're going along an untouched road. It takes you about, we'll say about maybe an hour and change, so like an hour and 10 maybe, until you come riding up and you're able to see a little further now. You can see an encampment with a bunch of men moving around it. Let me move you over to the map here. It is set off about probably about 100 feet from the side in a little clearing, a little bit of a depression that seems to go into a small side canyon. Let me bring you over here, guys. Where are our heroes? Where are you? There you go. Oop, I don't want that. That's what I want. All right. Now, just because I'm going to the tactical map does not mean we're rolling initiative yet. Let me move you guys over. Go. Boom. So, you guys are down here. So, what you can see is that there is a very busy camp with people kind of clearing things. You hear chopping of wood. You maybe even hear the sound of the camp before you ever get there. So, as you guys come riding up, there's one or two of these guys peel off and start making their way down towards where you guys are. And I think that before long, and before, just as they're reaching there, you see the door kind of, the flap to one of the tents opens up, and out walks this guy. Sure enough, if Graham's description of him looking more weasel than man, he's hunched over, he's got a bit of a pronounced nose, he looks fairly skinny, and he is dressed in the kind of like the leathers and traveling gear that you'd expect from, to be honest, from a like a roadside bandit, more so than anything. Oh, all you see is black? Hold on. What have I done with the... oh, here we go. No global illumination. Did I not give you guys sight? 1 second here.
I can see.
Who is... Okay, you have sight. Lex. You do not. That would be why. There you go.
Ah. Looks like a frost map.
Okay. So, the two men basically reach you as as this guy comes out of the tent from up here, accompanied by a couple of guys. Boom, boom, and they say, "Hey, what's your business here? Pretty big for dwarves, aren't you?"
Dwarves.
We are not dwarves, in fact. My name is Gorwin, and I am an elf, and this is Lex and Falcaril, and you guys are both half-elves, right? They're both half-elves, and we're here to talk.
Here, talk about what?
Well, we've been deputized by Thane Silverstream to talk about the situation in town with your leader.
So as you can see, someone kind of that Weasley-looking guy starts making his way down, and he... 1 second here.
You gonna show everybody his picture up close so we can get all smart?
So they can hate him as much as us?
He says, all right. Boys, calm down. They're just coming through here. Is that any way to treat a traveller? Hello, travellers. And he walks up and keeps a distance of about 20 feet away from you. And the other guys take their positions around them. They're all armored in leather armor as well, too. They're all armed as well. But that's not unusual for traveling the Icewind Dale. Yep. And he looks out. He says, strange weather for you to be traveling. What brings you so close to our camp?
Well, we're actually here to see you and to sort of talk about what's going on.
What a surprise! I did not experience... Did you hear that I was having someone visit? And the guy just silently shakes his nose or his head, and he turns to the other guy. Did you hear that I was having someone visit? No, it's a surprise to them too. Surprise to me, surprise to them, surprise to those back there, I suppose, as well. What's this... Oh. What have I deserved?
We're a surprising bunch.
No doubt. 3 elves dressed in dwarven armor. Strange. What's this surprise about?
These are gifts from the dwarves. They're given to us.
Oh, bribes then? Bribes? Mercenaries, are you? Coin?
Friends, allies.
Sell swords.
No.
Oh. Dwarves would truck with... elves would truck with dwarves. That's strange. Strange things abound. A strange surprise for me. So what's the purpose of this surprise? Just to come by and say hello?
Well, Thane Silverstream wanted us to talk to you about your ideas for the Dwarven Valley and your intentions here, and just sort of the general state of the relationship between.
You've got one thing wrong there already. It's not the Dwarven Valley, though, is it? It don't belong to them, does it? It belongs to the 10 towns, doesn't it?
I think the history of this land would disagree with that, and Thane Silverstream certainly doesn't agree, unfortunately.
No, then he wouldn't, would he? Though. But then, if Wanting made things the way they were, we'd have no need for them, would we? And he gestures at your weapons.
It's very true.
Indeed. Things are a little more muddied here. Muddied. Did you know that the dwarves settled here only at the permission of the folk of the 10 towns? This is their land, you see. It's the land of the 10 towns. Dwarves are allowed to be here. It's still their land, though, isn't it? Corbin, give me a history check.
Okay. Yeah, I have ancient history.
Ancient history, take a -4 to that. Oh, a 2 will be certainly good enough, though. Yeah, you don't think that's right.
Yeah, I was guessing, and I was thinking, I might respond, well, we'd love to see whatever, contractual agreement was drawn up between the dwarves and the 10 towns to, demonstrate the claim.
What? Contracts? Are you new to the deal, then? You must be. Elves wearing dwarven armor. Tourists, then. Tourists here. You don't know how things are done.
Well, Falco's going to lean forward and just on his staff, and he say, as far as I recall, the 10 towns has never tried to settle the Dwarven Valley before and left it to the dwarves. What's changed?
It's not settle. Not settle. Working it. Because it belongs to the 10 towns, see. And the dwarves been having all sorts of problems, I hear. All kinds of problems. That's right, isn't it? He turns to one of the guys and, again, silently kind of nods along with him. So much trouble. Trouble is that we've got you coming in, don't you? Sellswords. Elven sellswords coming down.
Macro would talk his head to the side and says, those troubles aren't present anymore.
No, but he's still got you lot running his errands, doesn't he? Doesn't speak well to the dwarves' ability to control here when you send in elves out to be your errand boys.
I believe he just wanted us to be able to communicate together and thought there might be language barriers and such if you had to speak to dwarves. But
is he thick then? Are you saying the thing's thick? He's got difficulty with common. And he shifts into, how many of you guys speak Dwarven?
All of us, I believe. I know I do.
I think we were picking it up. Didn't you say we were picking it up from the dwarves?
I've been intentionally trying to learn it.
Yeah, Falco was intentionally trying to learn that. I wasn't sure if the rest of you guys were necessarily doing that. So what he says, in perfect Dwarven, or Dwarvish, that maybe this would be better then.
Falco nods and says, you can speak Dwarven all you like, friend, but there are cultural and their society works different than humans.
Oh, no doubt. We 10 towns, and you can tell he's not from the 10 towns from his accent. We even 10 towns, we don't have some of their cultural customs. We don't take our backs against each other. No.
And which part of the 10 towns are you from? I may be new, but
I think he's from the town of. I recognize you. Yeah.
Oh, do you? Have we met, my friend? I don't remember your face, and I'd remember your face. I will remember your face now.
recognize you somehow.
Strange.
Thought for sure you were a Rethnorian. Isn't that the town?
Well, you think of it, and then I'll let you know. Oh, so you know. You have traveled then, my son. You have traveled far.
Ah, yes.
You know that these 10 towns, they've allied themselves. New friends they've made. Your Thane's made friends, and they've made friends too.
Indeed.
You've been to Luskin then, have you? Hey? You've met the ships? Hey?
We know
You've
their
seen.
reach.
Then you know well that the 10 towns have new friends then.
So we hear.
Indeed. Indeed, indeed.
Always good to have friends.
Now, I'd hate for you to leave without some good news for your friend then. Your new friend, the Thane. And the good news is, we've got no business and no intent of seeing them driven off. They've done a poor job of managing these lands, and we intend to make some further use of it. But they're not going to be driven off, no. But they will be paying taxes now, as is due. Tenants on these lands, as they'll be paying to the 10 towns what own this valley. You call it a Dwarven Valley, I call it the Valley of the 10 Towns.
And so do you have a note of some kind, some kind of requirement for these
You're
taxes?
all bright boys. I suspect you can bring it back to him. You can express this quite clearly. You've traveled, seen the world you have, haven't you?
We can definitely let them know what the situation is.
Indeed, indeed.
We're hoping for a different one.
You're the clever one in the bunch, then, I take it. You and your pet. What a nice pet.
Well, then maybe we can help you to the exit of the Valley of the 10 Towns, so you can head home and tell your masters you've been successful in sending your message to the Queen.
No. No, I think it's you what's going to be leaving.
I don't think that's happening. I think we'll be heading back on Thane to deliver your message. Isn't that what you just said?
What's that, my son? You're both talking over each other.
You mentioned you wanted us to tell the Thane that we're smart lads and we can get the message to him about paying taxes. So we'll be heading back to Thane to tell him your message.
Indeed. Well then, don't let us keep you. Pleasure to meet you. Surprise is always welcome.
We'll try to be less surprising next time we send word.
Oh, we'll be keeping watch, my son. We'll be keeping watch for you. Pray, what's your names, new friends?
I believe it is the polite custom to give your name first.
Well, it's quite the height of rudeness when a new person asks your name to refuse to give it.
Yes, it's also the height of rudeness to come on lands that's been somebody else's for a long time with no proof of...
Oh, you're so confused, my friend. Let me spell it out slow for you. That's ways you don't get lost on the path. This is a valley of the 10 towns. The 10 towns as friends in Luskin. Yous are agents for a squatter. Is that clear for you now?
Perfectly.
What's your name then? Squatter's agent.
Lex is kind of thinking we should just go with Store, Thomas, and Cola.
Valprola just smiles, turns his back, and starts walking away.
Okay. Oh, he's scared, is he? Oh, what kind of man keeps a bird anyway? It's a strange one, him. Goodbye. Goodbye, new friend.
Valprola doesn't respond.
And he looks over at Lex and Gorwin. What about you? You too scared to give your names too?
Not at all.
And what's your name then? Lex. Lex.
I love silver. Do you love silver? Silver's a beautiful metal.
I much prefer platinum myself, but
Yeah. I like to have silver around, lots of it. So, you know.
indeed. No doubt wise user. Sellsword then, right? And the guys around him are kind of And what about you, my elven friend? What's your name?
Oh, it's very long and in Elvish, and I'll just say a random Elvish word at him, and
So he
see
says
if he
back in
knows it.
Elvish, repeats back the word, whatever strange thing you've said.
Oh, yes. Oh, do you know the language of the elves? It's been so
Indeed.
long since I got to converse with someone in that.
Of course. I take it that your name, whatever, like, what do you think
Well, it's something like Strider, right? Like a name that's like a nickname, clearly.
Sure. Yeah. Am I correct in thinking because of how sort of academic and non-seasoned it is, it comes off as very unconvincing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not,
I'm like,
particularly.
badass McCard buddy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what people call me.
Yeah. So he says, all right, then, and we'll. Honestly, my mind goes to what do you call it, Senjuro, where he like names himself after the mulberry bush. So he says, very well then. Thank you, my friends. Scoot along. Bring your message back, messenger boys. Be sure to get paid too. Make sure. Goodbye. And he turns and walks back, leaving the four men there watching you. He doesn't spare a second look back the whole way back to the tent. What do you guys
That
do?
went about as well as I thought it was going to go.
Well, it was going pretty okay until you started that last little bit. I was like, don't do this, girl. Don't do this.
Taco knows there's only one way to deal with that kind of guy, and this is a peaceful mission at the moment, so that
Okay.
guy only understands one thing, and it's power. And yeah, he's gonna feel what it means to be hunted by something persistent if things go bad.
So he's gone. What are you guys doing? The rest of them are waiting. It's still, it's still a nice day. At least there's no snow falling. You would easily be able to get back to the Paldranor's camp within an hour and change. Again, it would not even be noon by the time you guys get back to his.
Yeah,
What are you thinking?
They find Falcro pacing by his ram, just muttering into himself,
Okay.
clutching one of his arrows and rubbing the arrow tip and just whispering words to his god. He's irritated.
Yeah. So if the intent is to ride back to Paldranor's thing, why don't we take our mid-session break with you guys mounting up and you guys starting to ride back. When we get back, we'll talk about the fallout of that, what you guys want to do, and then we'll carry on with the adventure. Okay, so for those listening at home, back in 5 minutes here. So, back soon.
Whew.
I thought you were going to start something there. I was like, oh no.
No,
Part of me wanted you to. I was like, just do it.
I wanted to, but Valkyrie is not chaotic. He doesn't just simply act on his own whim. He's driven by instinct, but that's because he's good. We're here to be nice and play nice. And
Okay. Let's quickly check in the chat here. Ice King, what's shaking? Fred, what's going on? And Brian, what's going on, buddy? Internet coming tomorrow. Hoping for a better service. Awesome. Well, good luck with that, Brian. We got your charity session coming up pretty soon, Brian, too. So, got to get that internet working so we can get back to Dark Sun. All right, guys. So, what are you guys doing next here?
We're going to send the rams off towards Palcurl or towards Paljanar. We're going to circle back and kill those guys.
No, we have to report to the Thane first.
Oh wait, yeah, we're not murder hobos, and we have.
We're murder hobos, and we have a reason to be, and this is not a good reason, not yet.
Okay. So, as you guys are making your way back to, there is an hour of time. I'll move us back to the Dwarven Valley here. What are you thinking here, guys? What do you make of your new friend Griff?
Just if I was less humane, I'd think his head would look good on my wall. But he's muttering. He's starting to respect the dwarven culture for, it's focused on honor and whatnot. And I know there's evil dwarves, but when humans go evil, oh man, it's even worse.
I think we need to get the message back to Thane Silverstream, but we also need to make sure that these guys don't go off and start causing trouble.
I think we should warn Palgor that it did not go well, and Palgor firmly believes these people are as evil as Barrack ended up being, and we need to be careful and watch out. And we need to go find out who sent them, and these guys are just going to be here causing trouble. The dwarves can handle these guys.
So here's one bit to help with the context of this too. There is one new development, I guess, that came from this. What do you guys can you recognize what that was, or do you remember what that was?
They're here to work the land and get resources. I'm thinking they're after something.
More so, not so much what they're doing. So the new speaker in Bryn Shander is Valish Gant, right? What do you remember about what you knew about Valish Gant? Not what you suspected, but what you knew.
It's been a while.
What do we have?
Oh, Arlen, you're muted.
Yep. He was kind of stirring the pot with the merchant class, it seems like, was the big thing that he was,
Well, and the story that you knew was that Gant was from Waterdeep. He was a Waterdeepian merchant who came up to here. To be honest, much like Devessa Shane, like her father was. What you did not know, you knew that there were agents of Shiprethnor active in the region. You saw that note from someone with a sigil on it, which suggested the Arcane Brotherhood might be involved. If so, that's two things from Luskan. This is the first time that you guys have heard them explicitly say that they're allied with Luskan.
Like openly making the claim, as opposed to being just discreet.
Yeah, and as a refresher too, like what your characters would know, Luskan is effectively kind of like a pirate city. It's a city-state. Many of the cities that are along the Sword Coast are kind of city-states themselves. But for the most part, they don't try to prey on each other. Luskan will prey on anyone they think they can get away with preying on. They are not a very stable kind of thing. If you think of kind of not, it's not a good to always draw real-world parallels, but the sort of like Somali warlord situation is similar to what Luskan would be, but it's a little more structured and organized in Luskan. They have the benefit of having a powerful magical like guild, the Arcane Brotherhood, behind the scenes, sort of driving the different gangs, the ships, to do their different things. So If Luskan is trying to throw its power in and control the 10 towns, that is a new development and a very troubling one as well, too.
Well, and that they're openly trying to seize the Dwarven Valley is like it's not even, Baka was behind the scenes trying to control Barrack, and maybe had introduced the Black Ice. We don't know, but
yeah,
but that's like underhanded and deceitful, and now they're just like, no, we're just going to take it now. Baka failed, so.
And so they're behind the destabilization of the dwarves, pushed for it, and they're taking advantage of the opportunity. Whoever set this up was very clever.
I think we should go to Luskan and destabilize their homeland since they're destabilizing ours.
They already cut the head off. And
you should set up cells. You should recruit people over the internet. Again, troubling to use real-world parallels.
Yeah,
we'll just take over one of the houses. Yeah. Ship wrecking, or you're ours now.
I don't think Falcor would last long there because he'd killed so many people. He'd eventually be taken down.
What do you guys? I'm trying to think here. Who? So Store would be able to tell you this as well. So would what is Jeff's character's name? Brune, because Brune is actually from here. The popular opinion in the 10 towns since its founding, there's no way they would willingly throw in with Luskan. At least not in the past. They would never have done that.
Right.
They know that Luskan can't be trusted in the same way everyone else does. You wouldn't, you don't trust a wolf to watch your kid. So that's also that should help give you guys some context as to what the hell's going on here. So, what else do you guys think? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt with the info dump there, but
fine. Another sticky situation.
I was going to say, can we send one of? Do we think does Palgner think it'd be appropriate for us to send one of his men back to Silverstream to let him know, and we stay close enough here that we can?
Do you want to skip to when you're meeting with Palgner to talk about this that day?
Sure.
Okay, so if you guys have anything you want to talk amongst yourselves, we'll do that now. Otherwise, we can cut to you guys. We see you guys riding away from their camp. And
I think we should leave them. We should be stray too far from these Luskan bastards. So,
Bagger will say they haven't attacked anybody yet. I don't think us arriving will spur them on to do anything else. They think they're in total control and have power here. They're acting like they don't fear anybody.
Fair enough. So we go to Palgner and then straight back to the thing.
I think it'd be wise to tell Palgner what's going on.
Okay, so we'll cut to you guys once again sitting around, and the clunk clunk. We see the mugs placed down in that same dwarven table as last night, and Palgner looks at you all and says, "So from the long faces, I take it that things did not go well."
Things only go well when both sides are willing to reach an agreement. They think they own the valley and that you were squatters.
Graham you can see him nodding his head. He says, "Hey, that's how they treated the Thane. Such disdain."
Yeah. They are from Luskan. Luskan's behind this.
They all sort of look at each other. Palgner says, "Luskan."
Mm-hmm. I suspect the fire witch Baka that was behind Barrack Hammerstone, she was tied to the same powers. I think this isn't a coincidence.
If Luskan's had its... I don't know much of what's beyond the valley, but I know that name. I know that they're a predator. What should we do?
I'd say keep your eyes open. I know they haven't done anything since they've been here, but our encounter with them may have changed how they approach things now. But
Why?
I feel they won't
What
do
happened?
anything. We had a nice talk. And then he has, half spits when he says nice.
All right. And he kind of, looks to the side and says, was it only talk then?
There was no blood spilled.
There was no weapons drawn. It was only talk, but there was some
There were, insults.
varied insults and
Then, you intend to ride back today then? You'll be riding through night if you intend to leave. If you leave now.
no, we should stay here. Riding this in the daytime.
Okay.
Okay.
Then, what do you guys do? I guess first off, what's going through everyone's mind as you're, because there's not really much to. It's freezing cold outside. The quarters in here are quite cramped. So really, the only sort of solace you have is if you turn your mind inward. Goran, what are you making of this development?
Gorwin is really kind of pissed off at the idea that they would, lay a claim and not have, a charter or a contract or something to back it up, and then act like that was silly to bring up. That they're going to make a claim, they should have, the paperwork to back it up.
Yeah. What about Falcarol?
Well, he's going to spend a lot of time outside because he prepped indoor cold. So he's just going back to his dream, arrow, target, and just imagining that guy's face, end of every arrow.
Nice.
He's just trying to focus his anger and not do something stupid.
Okay. How about you, Lex? What's going through your mind?
Well, being from Neverwinter Wood and having connections with friends and people in Neverwinter, Luskin has never been a, positive experience in any way. They're always conniving and getting into shit. And just the way this guy treated us and talked to us, it's, he just reminded Lex of Slim, or was it Slim?
Yep.
Yeah.
So one thing to that end, like you've heard of the Black Network, it's more active in the to the east and south of Neverwinter, but then the Zentarum is a conniving, selfish organization and whatnot. One of the things that differs with the Luskins from this is the Luskins don't try and hide it. It's naked displays of force and fortunately they're usually too stupid or too blunt to do it. They'll either take someone down immediately or they'll just fail because they've misjudged they're punching out of their weight class. This type of thing is if there is this elaborate deception and stuff going on, they've learned some new tricks.
Mm-hmm.
So, then you guys, the evening comes, the evening passes. Let's see if anything...
Yeah, once night falls, I go back inside.
Okay. All right, let me see here. Nope, wrong dice. So it is getting close to the evening. I think if you're waiting until evening to go inside Falcarol, you actually see it first. And there is, good lord, there's a cart moving towards you. Like towards the encampment. The snow is still holding off, so you're able to see it quite a ways off before. But there is someone with a horse or a mule or something dragging a cart that seems to be laden with supplies.
Okay. Are there any other dwarves keeping watch out here?
There probably is two. Yep. You may be I think the first one to spot this thing though.
Okay. I'll look over and say, we've got a cart coming. We expecting anybody through the pass this late in the night?
They both look at each other like, no. With the turn in the weather, who would brave the roads like this?
Might want to get the others, and I'm going to keep a watch.
Okay. Let's see here.
And, calmly retrieve my arrows and put them back in my quiver.
Okay. Okay.
Because I was thinking if somebody sends supplies to these guys, it might have come, but
Okay. So, Lex and Gorban, you hear this as well too. That there's someone arriving. The dwarves all kind of, about half of them get bundled up. Paldronor gets bundled up as well too, and throws his helm on, and they all step outside, grabs his axe. As you guys step outside, the cart in the interim has gotten closer, and you can see it's a leaner. It's certainly bigger than a dwarf and more lithe than what a dwarf would be. But it's tough to tell if it's with the big heavy furs. The cloak's pulled up, or the hood is pulled up around the of the cloak is around her or his face, and the horse kind of goes along, and as everyone comes out, the big mittens are covering this person's hands as well. But you do hear a woman's voice say, "Hello there. Hello, dwarves. I hope you have a fire started. Oh, it's cold out."
And she's coming up through the valley or to the valley?
To the valley, from the east way.
I say, you're traveling fairly late in the night.
She looks up, "Oh, you're quite tall for... Well, you're not a dwarf at all."
No, I am not, ma'am.
"Who are you?" 1, 2, 3. Dwarves and elves in here. That's
Indeed.
strange.
Times are changing.
She pulls the hood back, and what you see is a kind of a weather-beaten but still quite striking woman's face, blue eyes, blonde hair, and she's got the look of a traveler. That kind of sun-colored and weathered skin from it. You'd guess maybe for the half elves, you would guess maybe that she's in her late 40s. She's, forgive me, my name is Kira. I coming from the south, from Neverwinter.
Ah, well, greetings, Kira. I'm Falcoro.
Hello, Falcoro. Wait, do the dwarves have elves manning the stations? And Paldronor kind of steps past you guys and says, "No, the dwarves command this valley. It's the Dwarven Valley. What's your business here?" And she puts her hands up and says, "No offense meant, friend dwarf. I'm a simple merchant. Though the weather's turned, it's still end of season, and I thought that I have wares. I have wares that you will find of great interest."
Falco says, Kira, who are you planning to sell to?
Well, she kind of looks at you and looks at the dwarf and back at Paldronor, and he kind of looks up at her and looks up at you and says, "Well, answer him." And she looks again. She's trying to figure out who's in charge here, and she says, "Well, forgive me, the dwarves. To the dwarves, of course."
That's good to hear. As you may notice, elves being with dwarves is unusual. Times are unusual. So, and he leans down to Paldronor and says, I know you're turning people away, but merchants?
It's strange, isn't it? For her to be along the road here?
Mm-hmm.
Suspicious,
Perhaps.
I think.
Perhaps
Excellent. Maybe you should inspect her load.
Well, hold on. Perhaps if we don't turn her away, we three could escort her to Silverstream's encampment, to the town.
You bring her. What? And he steps in. What if she's an assassin?
That's why we should go with her.
To bring the assassin to the thing. Forgive me, Falcor, but your
I don't think she's an assassin.
the purpose of his strategy escapes me.
Why don't you look at what she's carrying?
Well, yeah, I want to get to that eventually, but they're supposed to turn them away, and if she's actually a merchant.
She looks over or he looks over and gestures to the dwarves to go and search the wares, and Kira says, "Oh yes, please, please. See, I have nothing to hide, only to sell." And she hops down. Oh, she says, "Could we step inside? The weather, with the sun going down, it's getting colder by the minute."
I just looked at Paldronor and see what he has to say.
Paldonor says, looks up at the cart and says, "We'll keep the cart in the stable. My men will take care of your mule, and we'll search your wagon tomorrow. You'll stay with us for the time being." And Kira kind of nods and says, "Oh, of course. If as long as it's inside, please." And kind of looks up at you guys to say, like, should we let her in?
Cockerel has no issue with it.
Yeah, of course we're gonna, we're not gonna turn her away in the night.
Yeah.
So the door opens, or she walks over, or you guys walk over, open the door, and everyone sort of funnels inside. And yeah, so you get in, and she gets unbundled fairly quickly and goes and takes a position near the hearth. And she says, "Oh, the road. I've never seen a winter like this. So fast, so fierce."
I'm a little surprised you don't have any guards with you. The road is dangerous.
Who would there were no guards to be hired for love nor money.
Very brave of you to come then. When I traveled here, I got assaulted by wolves and nearly killed.
Maybe you taste better than I do.
Apparently.
Where are you coming from, Kira?
Bryn Shander last. We made it through before the pass closed. I was delayed. There was some excitement in Bryn Shander. And then Yeti attacking the town, a fire. It was difficult to get things ready. But, I was told there were some troubles here, but usually where there's trouble, there's opportunity as well. At least my experience has been such. What brings you here, Alf? Strange to see elves amongst the Dwarven Valley. Are you merchants as well? She kind of looks at your armor.
Not really merchants. We had a friend who we were bringing back to his homeland.
Well, there was a merchant we brought over, but
There was a merchant we brought over. That was sort of a bit of serendipity that we could help out two people at once. And then we got involved in the trouble, shall we say. But luckily, that's all over now.
Yeah.
The troubles are over.
Sort of.
Well,
I
don't know if the troubles are ever over in the middle of winter, but
No,
the
indeed.
big trouble is.
Yeah, you solve one trouble, another one pops up.
Such is the way of things, indeed. Though, with luck, this will be. If the troubles are over, I may need to winter with the dwarves. Though, past experience has been that, she looks to Paldronor, your people certainly are welcome guests, or certainly are welcome hosts. To your hearths are always warm, your tables are always full, and your ale is always flowing. So, and he kind of gestures to Graham. Graham goes and grabs another mug, pours some ale, and hands it to her. She says, "Oh, thank you." And she takes a swig. What brings you three up here then? Just your friend, you say? Is your friend here or elsewhere? Or is he back with the dwarves now?
He's resting with the dwarves.
Resting with the dwarves is.
Yeah. Solving problems. Usually
Is that a euphemism or?
Oh no, he lives.
No, he's good. He's just there was a bit of chaos and he needs some time to recover.
The troubles didn't claim him then. I'm happy. I'm happy to hear that.
It's
never a good thing to lose a friend. What were your names again? Forgive me. I'm Kira.
Yeah, Falcarol.
Falcarol, well met.
Lex of Neverwinterwood.
Lex, well met. Wait, did you say of Neverwinter?
Of the wood, actually. But
Oh, hold on. I think my son's up. One second. I'm going to let Anna out.
I'm gonna give her the badass elven nickname. See if it catches on.
Totally do that.
Who's immediately suspicious of her?
A woman with no guards in the middle of the night showing up in the worst
Oh.
weather they've had in a decade.
Yeah, close to night.
How could you not be suspicious? But it's probably red herring.
Still, got to be hospitable, even though I'm suspicious.
Okay. So, sorry, she said you were from the woods, not from
Indeed.
Neverwinter itself.
I have friends and family in Neverwinter, but I resided in the woods with my mother for the longest time.
Then we should compare notes to see if we know any in common then. And you.
Oh, and I give her the badass elven name.
Yep.
I'm trying to get it to catch on.
Sanjuro.
Yep.
All right. So she thank you. So well met. You're not from the 10 towns, I take it? It's unusual to see your kind up here.
No, I hail from farther south. But I suppose everybody does. But
You must be welcome friends, or you must be true friends too, of accompanied a friend of yours so far north and in these conditions. It's rare that anyone would, by choice, choose to visit the Icewind Dale in the winter without clear purpose. Riches normally drive those of us foolish enough to come up here. Eh? She kind of looks
I can't speak for the others, but I felt the calling, and I fell in with the group, and then we became friends.
Good. Travel, so it's good to have friends on the road. Then, and she'll keep kind of chit-chatting with you guys. If you guys want to try and get any information out of her, you can feel free to do that.
Yeah, what's going on in Bryn Shander? Like, I know the fires and the whatnot, but I hear there's a new leader.
There was, yes. Strange. I did not know speaker or former speaker Duvessa terribly well, but she was not poorly thought of, at least not in previous years. But such is the way of change. It seems that many were unhappy and dissatisfied with her. Let me ask you, if you've been here longer, are the 10 towns at war with the Regid?
The last that we heard of, the Regid were looking for help from the 10 towns.
Really?
Yes.
The popular sentiment in town is that the tribesmen are to blame for this poor weather.
Oh, the poor weather was here before that.
Oh.
In fact, the one Rhaegar we met claimed that there was some force behind it, and he was seeking help.
And that is very different from the sentiment in the 10 towns. And the new speaker, Gant, he seems eager to confirm that as being the trouble. But
So
politics rarely makes for profits, so I tend to steer clear of those myself.
I would caution against anybody who seeks to blame others.
Probably a wise policy. Tell me, is there still much of that black ice to be had? I've heard that it's been very popular in the towns on Lac Ashir.
That Falcro gets kind of serious and looks to Gordon and Lex, and the back at her. Says, Kira, the black ice was the source of the problems in the valley.
What do you mean? Greed, or?
There's something about it that darkens the hearts of those who use it.
Are you being metaphorical again, or do you mean...
Literal. Speaking of magic.
Oh.
It's popular because it makes itself popular. You'll not find any here.
I've heard there are merchants across Lactinashire who are trading it.
Yes.
And are they greedy merchants? Are they willing to go to any lengths and act out of character?
I have not been there yet myself, but I mean, the people of the Icewind Dale are shrewd negotiators. I have yet to lay my hands on any of this, though. If what you're saying is true, then perhaps that was to my benefit.
I caution you, never touch it.
Oh, so what? And she kind of looks over at Paljanor. What happened here then? You say it was.
I look at
trouble.
Paljanor and I'm like, this is your story to tell if you wish. It's not ours to share.
And so he kind of lays out from lays out the circumstances of what happened here in the most favorable light that could place Stokely Silverstream. He certainly portrays doesn't portray any sympathetic light to Hammerstone. He presents Hammerstone as a despot, a tyrant, and ensorcelled by the Luskan sorcerer. So she says, "Oh, so."
So if your goal was to come here and acquire black ice, your chances are pretty slim because it's been outlawed in a sense.
I see. Oh. Well, I have... East Haven on Lactinashire. No word has reached them about the black ice, I take it?
No, the situation's only been resolved in the last 10 days, so word has not spread.
I see. Then perhaps my fortunes will lie elsewhere. I think East Haven. East Haven is where I will head. If the riches are not to be made here, then... And if the dwarves are still recovering, the prospect of war can be profitable, but the aftermath in a civil war, I don't see the numbers there.
I look at Lake McGorwin, East Haven.
So let me bring you over to...
Yeah, we're planning on heading there, aren't we? Once the situation's resolved with the...
East Haven down here, guys. It's basically the second largest city or town in the 10 towns. Bryn Shander is the largest. East Haven is really the second, partly because of the trade from Lactinashire and partly because of the Red Run, because the passage between Lactinashire and the Red Waters. So she's going to head there. It's a bit of it's quite a bit of backtracking for her, but I guess
Just out of character, we were thinking about heading there, right?
I don't know about East Haven.
Actually, I'm only asking because Falcor will kind of feel like she shouldn't go on her own. It's way too dangerous.
Hey, you're on her own.
I know, but still.
She says, I have no money to pay for accompaniments, friends. I appreciate your you may be looking for new employment, but I cannot offer such to you.
Yeah. I mean, if we're heading there, I wouldn't mind accompanying her, but we have to resolve or at least let the Thane know what's going on before we do anything. So.
She looks at you. What are you proposing?
Well, if we're heading that way anyway, I mean, it's good for company, but I don't expect payment. I'm not sure about my other allies.
I just didn't think we were heading that way. That's all.
That's what I was asking.
Sure. You guys can take a moment to like step aside and talk. There's lots of there's dwarves you can talk to as well too. So it's not like it would be conspicuous that you guys were talking. If you guys want to figure out whether this lines up, this obviously was an unexpected development.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is if we go to East Haven, there's ways we can get to the other two towns, Cardenival and Cowconig, probably via boat. Somewhat safe, I think. Otherwise, it's overland travel to get there.
Yeah, but like,
What's the point?
don't we still have a job to do in the Dwarven Valley?
I'm thinking that if it comes to violence, I don't think we should instigate it because it's the dwarves' land.
Have any of the people who've had the dreams about the Black Tower talked about it? Did Cole talk about his?
I spoke of mine, Nicola.
I think you guys overheard. Like you guys weren't keeping. I don't think that you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think that Falcarel or especially once Hammerstone's wife, or not Hammerstone, Silverstream's wife, the priestess of Baronar, once she shared the vision that she had with that, I think that's what led him to share it with you, Falcarel, and you shared. So I think that all the player characters know about those dreams that you guys have been having.
So do we have a responsibility to stop the black ice from spreading, or whatever's at the Black Tower? I don't see how escorting someone to one of the other towns is keeping us on that greater path.
From what I recall, the Black Tower is in like a sea of moving ice, which is way off to the east or northeast, and
Right.
traveling overland to get there is probably not a good idea. And I think
There's
East
not
Haven-
really any options, are there?
there are some rivers that we can cut part of the journey off of, I think.
I think if anything, we would be heading north into trouble.
Maybe.
Whether that's out through the northern end of like Kelvin's Cairn, or up through the northern 10 towns.
Maybe. I'm just not sure exactly which direction it is, whether it's more east, northeast, or...
It's more of a northeast from where you guys are right now.
So we'd go up through the Dwarven Valley, through Kelvin's Cairn, perhaps?
No, that'd be to the northwest, not east. Forgive me.
Okay.
Yeah, this map north is not directly up on this one. Just for everybody's reference, because I think that may be part of the confusion.
Oh, right, yeah. So it's going to be off. It is in the direction like through Bremen's Run, excuse me, and then up to the. You're right. Thanks, Arlen. Sorry.
Yeah.
What I'll do actually between now and tomorrow's session, I'll load the couple of the other maps as well too. So we've got the broader, because there is wider views of it, so you can get a better sense of where the Sea of Moving Ice is.
Yeah, the only reason I bring this up is Falcarel is kind of nurturing to a certain aspect, and he doesn't want to send somebody off who's unprotected. I mean, that's the only reason he brought it up. If we can't go, we can't go.
Yeah. No, that's totally fair. I can appreciate that as well. Just, things seem to get more dire with every day, and the longer we delay on the big picture, the tougher it might be.
Maybe.
Gorwin, what are you thinking?
So my opinion, we've got a job to do here, at least to report back to the thing. So it's not like we could leave right away. The dwarves have been given orders to turn everybody away, right? Paldranor's here to just tell everybody to, turn around when they get here. So yes, that kind of sucks for her, but that's what their orders are. And it sounds like she's now feeling like that's the best thing for her to do anyway. So, and I was under the impression if we were going to go anywhere other than towards like the north, towards the Sea of Moving Ice, that we would be going towards Bryn Shander to see what's happening there.
Deal with the speaker.
Yeah, try to figure out what's going on with these
So go back this
Luskin
way.
bastards.
So
Yeah.
She still has to take the road here and then travel this way.
Yep.
So we could, if she sticks around or they let her sell some stuff, we could maybe escort her back. But that doesn't have to happen.
Well, yes, I guess we can clarify with her if she's willing to wait here for a couple of days. But it seems like she was thinking, oh, I'll just leave right away. And
Yeah, like, I mean, her every day that she's not selling this stuff is another day of food for her, food for the mule, and then lodgings as well too. I mean, if what you guys want to do is to escort her, then that may be negotiable. Yeah.
And if that is the case, and we are going to head back to Bryn Shander, and she's willing to wait a couple of days, perhaps that will keep Paladinor from getting in trouble with the Thane for not immediately kicking her out. Still being hospitable and
we haven't yet even like checked her wagon for the goods, right? Do we know what she's bringing?
No, they can check in the morning.
Seems like that might be. I mean, like, if I were going to try to sneak supplies into a sort of renegade encampment in the middle of enemy territory, I might do it with a merchant who has a sort of sob story about, needing to get in to help deal with all of this, essentially something kind of like this in order to get, like, I'm just wondering if she comes from Bryn Shander, right? That's sort of a possibility that we've kind of towed around instead of going at. Maybe we should see what her goods actually are before we decide what we want to do.
Maybe we should just
and also, if she's transporting like swords and axes and stuff like that, then Gorwin feels a lot less protective
and a lich king hiding in the bottom case.
And a lich king, that would be definitely less interest in protecting her.
Well, if you feel like that strongly, we could go out in the night to look. We all have infravision; we can see.
Let's go outside and talk about this.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you? If you guys are stepping outside, am I taking from your answer you're going to search her cart?
Yeah. If Gorn brings it up, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
Lex agrees, and he steps outside.
Okay. So you guys step outside, and I think that, like, as they step outside, Kira kind of looks at the dwarves like, what are they doing? And Paladin just kind of shakes his head and says, elves.
And Falcro leans over and says, nature calls everybody.
Okay. So, Lex, you were the only one heading out there?
Oh, I thought everybody was.
Yeah, no, all three of us are going
walking
out.
outside.
Oh, okay, so...
all three of us.
Sorry, then who did you let... Falco, who did you say that to?
Well, they look at each other, and he says elves, and I'm like, nature calls to everybody, and we walk out the door.
No, you guys left already. That's where I was confused. I'm like, well, hold on. Yeah.
Falcrill's breaking the fourth wall.
Just knows better than to get in our way when we're doing weird stuff.
Yeah.
Step aside and talk, not outside, but okay.
Okay, so the Lex, Falcrell, and Gorwin, you've all stepped outside, and that was just a little thing that he said. You make your way over, and it's very, very dark. Obviously, there's a little bit of light coming through the slits in the seams, I should say, not slits, because like they've sealed the guard post up quite well. They don't want anybody in, so it's I guess the fortunate thing is you do have your dark vision. So the three of you make your way over towards the cabin. There's the howling wind, and you can hear the sounds of the not panicked or anything, but you can hear the sounds of animals from within. I should mention as well too, I just watched the 82 version of The Thing with my son last weekend, so
that's awesome.
So you make your way over to the thing, you throw it open, and as soon as the wind kind of goes in, your three rams, as well as Paldinor's ram, kind of get a little agitated. The horse that's in there is agitated as well too, and the cart is sort of stopped in the middle of the thing. You guys all step inside and close the thing behind you, and it goes from being a wind that's howling in your ears to just something that's blowing around the outside. It seems almost like a hungry thing trying to get inside. Now, the cart itself, very cool. All right, so with your experienced hands, a couple careful, strokes on the nozzle or the muzzle of these things, kind of the rams settle down and go back to eating whatever they were eating. The cart itself is it's kind of standing. There's little struts that are setting up, so it's sitting fairly even at this point. But it is a two-wheeled thing. This is one of those carts that, like, I think that because you guys have worked as merchant caravan guards or caravan guards before, it's the type of thing you see from small merchants where, like, they pack as much crap as they possibly can onto here and secure it in such a way to be perfectly, secured. Does anyone have? No, I know none of you guys have. What do you call it? Land riding. But does anyone have any kind of skills or proficiencies relating to, like, merchantry? Let me take a look at the list.
What about rope use to, like,
Perfect.
Recognize how it's tied down and be able
absolutely.
to
So I think
it and replicate it again.
Yeah, and that's what my question I think was, is that if you've got rope use, then absolutely. Give me a rope use check here. Let's just see what the. Yeah, so it's not going to be maybe precisely the same, but you could do a good enough job of replicating what how it was done here.
Okay, so then Lex will start untying things and making mental notes of how things were wrapped. And if we've got to pack things back up, he's reasonably confident that he'll be able to. Yeah,
and it's going to be a tricky thing because this is not the kind of merchant who's transporting one thing. It's a whole bunch of different supplies, and to get it back into the same, direction. Although it's unlikely. Like, I don't want to make it seem as if, like, she's memorized precisely where everything is. This is a matter of, like, imagine packing your car for moving or packing your car for going camping. You're going to have some general locations where certain things will be put, but otherwise you're going to jam shit in wherever you can find space for it. So.
The dwarves are going to be searching it in the morning anyway, so as long as it's close and they get to it, she might not know we were in it.
Yeah. So you look through the stuff here, and it is. I'm not going to go through precisely what's in there, particularly assuming you guys aren't stealing anything from it. Then there's nothing in here that would raise an alarm for you. There's not strange vials with weird things in it, so you're not worried about poisons or explosives or things like that. There's no weaponry. It genuinely seems like someone who's carrying a whole bunch of high-value tradable goods that all come from south of the 10 towns. You've never come up to the 10 towns before, to the Icewind Dale, but this is what they typically do. The Icewind Dale has two things. I mean, really one thing that they're going for, and that's the knucklehead trout. The knucklehead trout has the ivory that comes from their head bones is incredibly valuable and very, very popular south. So people bring all sorts of crazy crap up here to try and trade to the locals to get that ivory. The fact that she was going to the Dwarven Valley to specifically trade, it's not high value. It's not gold or jewels or things like that. That the Dwarven Valley, it's stuff like iron and copper and whatnot. It's things that you would use to make things with, not things that have necessarily a huge amount of intrinsic value themselves. So it's rare that people would go. The fact that the black ice had that high perceived value, that's what drove some merchants to go there, it seems. So yeah, I mean, she's definitely either inspired or touched if she's traveling in these conditions on her own to go out here, especially after
desperate. We don't know how Brent Chandler is.
Or powerful.
Could be. I mean, she's definitely, she's seen a few seasons. You don't get old as a solo traveling merchant by being stupid. Okay. But nothing really stands out at you. If you guys have anything, I know you're sitting on some money. If there's any goods that you were thinking of wanting to pick up, any unusual goods that would not be available at the dwarves, I think there's a chance that she may have it amongst her stuff here. I'll let you guys, you don't need to make the decision right now, and you also probably would want to wait until tomorrow when the dwarves do the search to be able to say what's actually in there. So once you've completed this takes you maybe an hour to search through. Are you doing the entire cart? Like you're making sure you've looked over every single thing that's in there?
Honestly, I think we're going to bring up a good point about bringing supplies, like smuggling things into the other guys. But once we look through a good portion of it and we don't find anything, because she'd probably pack a lot of it if she was bringing it that far.
Yep.
He decides, no, we should probably pack it back up.
Okay.
Lex is like, I've never really smuggled anything, so I don't really know what.
Yeah.
No. Would you pack it in the middle? Would you pack it at the bottom? Would you hide it somewhere? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So,
No. Got no thieves in the group either.
No.
Okay.
This time, no smugglers either.
So you pack everything back up. You secure it as best as you could recall it being secured before, and then with one last sort of scritch on the muzzle of your ram, you guys head back inside.
Well, I think Falco's going to spend maybe half an hour rubbing the mule down and just checking his hooves, make sure everything's clear and nothing's wrong with him, and then head back in.
Sure. Give me you got animal handling, right? Yeah, give me.
Not very high, but I do have it.
Let's see.
Okay, boom. Oh, that works.
Not bad. No, I mean it's a working animal, so it maybe has like its hooves or the horseshoes are fine. Its hooves are clear. There's no like packed up ice or anything like that. It seems like I mean it's maybe its ears are a little bit frostbitten, but
his motivation is just that he's going to go back on. He wants to make sure that nothing's going to happen to the mule or anything. So
sure, nothing that wouldn't happen to Kyra or Kira as well.
So he can't control that.
Yeah. Okay. So then, guys, if you head back in, what do you do next?
Yeah, just
have a few drinks, and do you guys think we should have one person on watch with the dwarves as the night passes? Yep.
Sorry?
Do you think we should do each one of us stand a shift with the dwarves throughout the night?
Yeah, why not?
Cam?
Yeah. That's good to me.
So the suggestion...
Not because of her, just because it also helps keep us in... If we have like a certain sleep pattern, we would probably want to like keep those watches to keep your sleep patterns.
Yeah, and I'll probably take the last one because at dawn I prep my spells, so...
Okay. So you... and the dwarves are going to keep watch as well too throughout the evening. Although they're really it's not it's one person is sufficient for this. Anyone who's traveling in in these conditions is not is not going to be out for they're either lost and in trouble or they're meaning ill or they're non-human. Or non-human demi-human. So the evening passes uneventfully. Morning comes, and it seems that Kira has made up her mind that she is going to head back to Bryn Shander and then down the east way to get to East Haven. So she, once she breaks fast with you and the other dwarves, they treat her to a breakfast and they give her a little bit more to keep her, on the road. And I think that there will be 3 dwarves that will go with her for a little bit, to travel for about an hour and then turn back just to give her a little bit of an escort. And also, Paljanor seems to want to make sure that she is leaving.
I'll bid her farewell and tell her that I looked over her mule to make sure everything was tip-top, and
yeah,
it should be hopefully a smooth ride for you.
Yeah. Since she wasn't, since she's turning around and going, they're not bothering to search her wagon either. They don't want to begrudge her some of the traveling and make her travel at night, because if she with where the roads are. If she doesn't get out first thing, she won't get to Bryn Shander by nightfall. So then the rest of you guys are heading back to the Dwarven encampment, right? Encampment, the Dwarven settlement. So let me bring you over here. Okay. All right. So you know from last time it's going to be a difficult trip, and of course with now you guys are heading mostly uphill as well for at least a good part of it. You're very fortunate to have your rams as opposed to having to do this on foot, and the rams seem completely unbothered. Did you have a name for yours?
I'm calling him Foehammer.
Foehammer, okay. What about Gorwin and Lex? Do you guys have names for your what do you call it, for your rams? No? Okay.
I'm going to call mine Cracked Horn because one of his horns has a bit of a hairline fracture.
Sure.
And it's kind of got a weird growth because of it.
Okay. Love it. Then the trip back is actually uneventful. So you would have time to talk amongst just yourselves. How are you planning on letting the Thane Silverstream know about this?
Well, based on Dwarven culture, Jackal's trying to learn some of the Dwarven culture and ways just to be more at home here, and I don't think they like being spoon-fed stuff. Just straight up tell them that, what's going on, and basically what's on my mind is basically these guys are not going to leave without a fight, and even fighting them is going to cause trouble.
Okay.
That's what I think. What do you guys think?
It should be in private, though.
This is while you're traveling. This part, you guys taking a break at one point, just letting the rams, a carrot or something, and you guys are talking. Give me another weather roll there, Dave, please.
Cracked Horn likes hot chocolate. Just kidding.
In hot chocolate.
Okay, so it's clear. Fortunately, so it's another clear day. No snow coming down. And as you guys are giving that, you can hear that same sound that you heard before. Falcaro and Lex. Gorwin, you hear this as well.
Shit.
You guys look up. The skies seem empty, but the sky also, from where you're standing, you're in the valley, so you're limited by how much of the sky you can see. But what you can see then suddenly, wing overhead. Can I get a save versus spells from each of you guys?
Is it a fear effect?
It is a fear effect.
Will my ring help me with that?
What does your ring do?
Protect me from charm and fear effects.
Yes, it will.
Charm and fear. Okay.
Yeah.
That's handy.
I'm guessing if it's fear, it's not a light gaze or sound attack.
It is not an attack.
All right, then just a regular spell save from me.
You can probably feel my stomach drop, and he looks up. It's the calming effect of the ring that keeps him from shaking in his.
So we have 2 fails. What's that? Yeah, there's 3 astonishing fortune if you guys want to re-roll.
I don't know if you want to or not.
Yeah, what the heck.
Nice success by Lex.
Gorwin's going to accept fate as the dice have given it to him.
Okay, so
also because it seems like one of us should be scared by this thing.
Sure. So you can feel it, Gorwin. You sort of make a sound and begin kind of retreating back underneath the small bit of foliage that you can have, and your ram. Oh yeah, right. Each of you guys give me a save for your rams.
So just roll a d20. Ooh,
nice, nat 20 for Falcaro. No doubt an effect of the ring. Fail for Lex. Fail for Gorwin. All right, so I think Gorwin, unfortunately, you're probably, because you are affected by it as well too, you let go of the reins, and then your ram kind of turns and begins running away from you guys. Lex, I need an animal handling from you to try and keep your ram under control.
Is that like the ranger ability thing?
Do you not have a proficiency for animal handling?
Well, no, but I'm a ranger, so I get that natural animal affinity.
Right, but that doesn't allow you to. What that does is it can you can try and improve the initial impression with an animal for reactions. That doesn't allow you to necessarily control the animal. So I think then it's just a matter of trying to physically control it. So why don't you give me a Ben Bars roll, please?
Is that a D20 or?
No, it'll be on your character sheet. It's under strength. There's one that's Ben Bars, and the other one is lift gates.
There's no button, so it's like a 4. Just a.
Okay, so give us a percentile roll then. Nice. So yeah, in spite of this thing panicking, you're physically able to keep this thing under control. Nice.
Ben Bars lift gates.
Well, the trouble is these things are so strong, right? Like it's normal. I mean, if it was something that wasn't blinded by panic and it was really just a matter of it was a little bit scared, then I would allow you to make a strength check. But this, like, they're throwing their full wild panic into this stuff. It's only by virtue of your more about luck than good management that you actually control this thing.
So Lex has literally got his heels dug into the ground, and he's leaning back with like everything he's got, and it's basically a stalemate between the two, him and the ram.
Yeah. Falco, what were you gonna say?
I was thinking maybe he named it cracked horn because of the growth on his horn. Maybe it's a little more sensitive, and Lex grabbed him there too and just held him down.
Oh, maybe, yeah. So it keeps it under control. And then you guys see the Falco. You're the one, and Falco and Lex. You guys, Sparrow, look up, and what you see, winging probably 500 feet in the air, a huge white dragon.
Falco doesn't move a muscle, not wanting to draw attention.
It seems to not be paying attention to you. It flies over from the eastern side of the valley, and it is flying straight forward, like to the far end of the valley. It's following the valley as if it was an arrow shot along the length.
Like towards Kelp's Cairn?
Towards the end where the Dale Drop is.
Okay.
And it's on this side over here?
Yep. And I think, guys, we're a little early here, but that is where we will end our session.
That's a good cliffhanger.
So it disappears into the horizon, and I think it's probably what we end up with is we see you guys trying to control, the one ram goes off. We'll land on Gorwin. What do we see with Gorwin doing right now?
So Gorwin is kind of cowering down. He's got his cloak around him. He's doing his best to kind of cover up with his cloak so that his armor doesn't shine. And you can see him, it's almost like he's got this sort of instinctive urge to go to his weapons, but he's not kind of focused enough to actually get them. So he reaches down and touches his sword, and then he reaches back for his bow, and then he reaches towards his short sword, and each time kind of touches it but doesn't actually connect with it. It's as if he is so kind of wrapped up in fear that he's not able to kind of control himself, but he also just doesn't have those instincts fully down to draw blade and be ready to fight.
Are his eyes heavy with tears as well? Not crying necessarily, but that sort of pre-crying?
It's probably, he would say it's the cold wind and all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely.
Tear up.
Yeah.
But there's probably some of that. There's probably a little bit of that kind of, I think even more than tears, if anyone is looking, they can see kind of the sense of desperation on his face.
Sure. Okay. So with that effect there, that's where we'll leave things, guys. Let's talk about some XP now. Great role-playing today, guys. Jeez.
I'm Actually going to have Falkroll start being a little unnerved at how calm he was. Just the ring influenced him a bit.
Yeah.
But he might unnerve him just a little bit because that's terrifying. He
Yeah.
knows he should be terrified.
Oh yeah. You can tell from the way the wave hit everyone else too. It's that sort of like pre-earthquake thing with like birds taking flight and whatever. Like the animals, you would have felt if you were on the animals, it would have on the rams, it would have been even worse.
I'm gonna make a save versus spell just to see how he would have reacted.
Sure.
So yeah, he would have failed. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see here. We have 2 points of astonishing fortune left. So let's see here.
Kind of glad we didn't murder face that guy.
Okay.
So glad.
Let's give you that for that. So it's not going to be a huge amount of XP from today, but
That's okay.
so you guys are getting 150 XP each. 150.
I don't have a prime requisite bonus with this character, so it's hard to get rangers with prime requisite bonuses.
Yeah. No, it's
Well, it's hard to get a
tricky.
ranger at all, to be honest.
Yeah. All right. So for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for session 24 of our Legacy of the Crystal Shard campaign. Oh, what is going on here, guys? My goodness. More problems from Luskan, more, dragon problems, and what the hell's going on with the Ragged Tribesmen? I guess we'll have to find out some answer to that.
The guy leading Blitz Cheddar is lying his ass off. That's what's going on.
Nice. So as is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding this campaign, this game, or the session, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section of this video, and I will endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. You can also reach me on Twitter at Dungeon Musings, and you can reach me by email. My email address is dungeonmusings@gmail.com. You can also find a link in the description of this video to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, and you are welcome to join us on there. We have a ever-growing community of really cool gamers and we have channels dedicated who are always talking about cool stuff, and we have channels dedicated to this campaign, to every other campaign we run on the channel, to all the games we've run and are running on the channel. We have a great Find a Group that seems to be getting more activity all the time. We've got our other podcast channel is also seeing more people either start their own podcasts or sharing their podcasts on there too. So there's a bunch of great stuff that you can find on the other podcast one. There's great advice on setting up virtual tabletops or selecting between the different available virtual tabletops. Good advice from the players as to how to manage those things too. So tons of great content that and tons of great people, to be honest, because that's really what makes up the community there. You are welcome to join us, and while you're down there too, consider clicking on subscribe and hitting the bell icon to be notified of when we go live, and to hit like on this video if you did like it. That helps us with our whatever magic that happens behind the scenes in YouTube, and all proceeds we get from our ads and things like that, it all goes to help say thank you to our players. And to date, what that's done is provided we've managed to pick up a copy of the 89 version of the Player's Handbook for all of the players in our campaign. So it's, so it's pretty cool. There's also, as John points out too, there's also a link to our Redbubble store too, so you can find some cool stuff on there. That also, the proceeds from that help us. There we go. John's coffee as well. There's also a link in the description of the video to something called Heroes Save Villages. That's the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. If you click through to that, you will find a way to donate to SOS Children's Villages International, which is a terrific organization active in over 130 countries, providing safe and stable living environments for over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children from around the world. And from now until September 1st, 2020, for every $25 Canadian that you donate, you get one chance to win our grand prize or one of our other prizes in our charity raffle. Dave mentioned earlier that one of the things he's donating to the charity raffle is a chainmail dice bag. We also have a grand prize of the gold edition Eberron Rising from the Last War box set from our friends at Beetle and Grimm. They are normally I have it up there, but right now I've got it down because I'm preparing for our upcoming one-shot playing with that set to help showcase what's in there and the cool stuff you can make use of. In addition, you can win copies of the Astonishing Swordsman and Sorcerers of Hyperborea core rulebook. We've hit our halfway mark, so I've added some more prizes in from the Redbubble store as well too. So there are T-shirts and posters and more high value things like mugs or water bottles or the acrylic blocks that John was holding up there. So lots of great prizes. And the best thing is every donation you make goes directly to SOS Children's Villages International. None of it goes to the channel. None of it goes to any other middleman. It all just goes to help out those kids. So you get to help some kids who could really use some help and win some cool gaming stuff. Last but not least, I want to say a big thank you to my players. 3 players. You know, for some of our games, it manages with a smaller group a little better than others. But when it's a small group heading out in AD&D, it is always a crapshoot. So good on you guys for showing up and carrying on with potentially dangerous encounters. So Arlen, John, and Dave, thank you so much for joining me today, guys. This was a blast. I look forward to seeing what you guys do next. So then, until next time. For those listening at home, you're welcome, Dave. For those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us, live or otherwise. We will see you again tomorrow. We'll be continuing on with this campaign. And if you are listening to this live or contemporaneous to our recording and you're still living through the quarantine crisis, we hope that this finds you healthy, safe, and weathering the current crisis as well as can be expected. We hope giving you a chance to turn your mind off the troubles of this world and on to the troubles our heroes are facing. And until we see you again, happy